guys, welcome to another recap of American Idol. It's Hollywood Week. Everybody waits for Hollywood Week. Well, it's only part one. This year, they're deciding to do the boys separately from the girls. And I have to agree, I think that's a fabulous idea because it's just so much more to, it's like my brain hurts after seeing everybody do like the rounds. It's much better when they cut it in half. So the contestants arrive, and like I said, it's just the guys. So the first part of Hollywood Week is you have to line up in a line of 10, sing a cappella, and they tell you right then and there, you're on or you're cut. Alright, so Micah, the guy who had the nerve damage when he had his tonsils out, he made it through the preliminary round, not a surprise there. Along with Nate, Teo, Gabe Brown, who I like to refer to as Hurley from Lost, and Gurpreet. I'm really rooting for him. Really rooting for him. I really like him a lot. I don't know if he's going to make it though, but it would be nice if he did. You might remember the yeller, Carl Skinner. He drank a lot of Coke before his audition. I didn't think it was that bad, but it was a no. I mean, I've seen a few worse ones go through. And it was also no for the fireman Dustin and the singing Dr. Calvin. Remember Cortez? Well, this time he got up there and he did an a cappella version of I Will Always Love You. And Nikki was really pissed. I thought it was okay. He was almost sent home though. And then blah blah blah, some people I don't really know from the beginning auditions. And then the stutterer, Lazaro. It was a yes for him. I really like him. I think he's very sweet. I think he's the slightly taller version of Mateo, or Mateus. I keep calling him Mateo, but it's Mateus. So Nikki was talking with one of the contestants, and they were all like, oh, I'm tired. And she's like, well, we can send you home. Just kidding. That's a wake-up call, right? Literally. You remember Brian, the guy whose wife had cancer? He didn't make it. So about half of the guys were cut from the first round. Ooh, that went quick, much quicker than the show. Sometimes Hollywood Week is very frustrating for me because it's like, it's short attention span theater. There's too much coming at me all at once, and it's kind of confusing, and people start to look similar after a while, and it's just too much. But like I said, it's more manageable this year with just the guys. So it's group round time, my daughter's favorite. This time, for the first time in the history of the show is actually picking the groups for everybody. I like that better too, because I don't like all the kibitzing that goes on. Oh, you want to be in my group? No, you're out. Oh, we want somebody else. Sorry. So they're putting the groups together. You can't switch, and you have to pick from 20 songs. You have to pick one song. So Lazaro, or Lazaro, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's Lizardo. No, I know it's not. He's from Cuba, or should I say Cuba, and he don't speak the English so good, and he hasn't heard a lot of American songs either, so it was pretty hard for his group to actually pick a song. So, and some groups are better than others. I mean, the dynamics in them, some people just don't get along. And some of the groups are really thrown together like country queens. Two guys are like country, and the other two guys are like drama queens. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it works. Alright, so the Mad Heads were the first group up, and that was a group containing Mateus. And they did a really awesome version of Somebody to Love. I thought it was really great, and they all made it through, of course. Normal Hills, Johnny Kieser was in that group, and they sang I'll Be There. How do you not know the words to that song? He forgot the words. He said he never heard that song before. I find that incredibly hard to believe. It was pretty much of a train wreck, but 3 out of the 4 people made it, and one of them was Johnny Kieser. I was really surprised. They did not do enough cuts, I think, in the group round. Usually, I think they're a lot more brutal in the group round, and they really could have cut the fat this time, but they didn't. Alright, there was a trio up next containing Charlie Askew. He was stuck with one nice guy and one diva bitch. And he unfortunately got sick. So one guy was understanding and the other guy was like, I'll take him to the airport. Unfortunately, that guy was really talented and he made it through. They all made it through. But I was upset. I don't like when people aren't good sports. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's the right way to get to the top. Alright, the Four Tones were up next with Micah, you know, the guy with the nerve damage. And they sang Hold On, and it was a yes. Young Love with Nate Teo, Cortez, they sang Some Kind of Wonderful. That was a yes for them. The Taylors, who were these people? I don't even remember them. And guess what? They forgot the words to their song, so I guess we're even. 2 out of 4 of them made it. I think they should have just cleaned house with them. Gurpreet's group up next. The words they didn't remember, the harmonies were bad, and yet they all went through. A fine example of if you don't crack like a freaking thin-skinned egg under the pressure and you make it interesting, you can make it through. For real. And if you got a cool pink turban, you're through. I really like him. He's so cool. And then the group Last Minute. You don't know your harmonies. You're all cut. And nobody really knew who you were anyway, so whatever. They picked actually some really cool songs this season, I guess, because they, you know, took a lot of popular songs and then they had some classic ones as well. So it was good to hear something different for a change. It seems like we always are hearing the same old songs over and over and over, but I really like the song selections. I'm interested to see what it's going to be for the ladies. Acapella group. They decided to sing Payphone, but acapella. I thought it was really great, but they ended up cutting one person. Keith Urban was just like, oh, you didn't use the band. It could have been so much better with the band. I thought it was so much purer without the band. I don't know. Just call me an idiot. MoFlo. They sang Some Kind of Wonderful. And I don't really remember Burnell all that much, but they highlighted him out of that group. They cut 2 out of the 4 in that group, but Burnell made it through. Great, now I can get to know him. Hope he's not cut tomorrow. And then Super 55 with the group with Lazaro. They did a Beach Boys song. Lazaro made it, but 2 of the other guys didn't. And they weren't too good on the lyrics either. But they didn't, well, 2 of them didn't fall apart. But I guess 2 of them did. Country Queen, More Than Words, one of my all-time favorite cuckoo songs. I mean, it's when you think of the group that originally sang that song, they were like a hard rock band, and then they came out with that More Than Words song. It's like when Kiss does their little slow ballad and all the rest of their songs are headbangers. So that's really one of my favorite songs, and it fell apart. It really did. Trevor didn't make it. He was the only one cut, one of the country guys. The other 3 made it through, so I was hoping it was going to work. DKSK, the youngest group. You remember David Leathers from last year? Well, I think it's David Leathers Jr. He was the last one cut at Hollywood Week last year. And he's back now. And Baby Bieber was in that group too, Caden. Well, it's good news for David Leathers Jr. He made it through, but Caden did not. I'm not surprised about Caden. It was more his story than anything. I didn't think he had the chops for the show, but he did have a very good attitude when he was cut. So I liked him. But it was a no for him. Alright, remember the guy whose parents had never heard him sing until the audition? I guess they're not going to be hearing much singing again because he didn't make it. Alright, and then the last group of the day, Oz. That was the group that had Papa Peaches in it. And a few others. Yeah, it was a pretty eclectic group. Papa Peaches made it through, and I think one other guy did. So, We'll know more tomorrow, I'm sure. It's hard when there's this many people to try and remember everybody and mention them, but I hope I did a good job mentioning them. If you had anybody special that you really liked, please leave it in the comments if they did or didn't make it. I'd be curious to know who everybody else is really digging on. And tomorrow's the solo round, so get ready for that. And until tomorrow, much love.